Doing good. Off season, we were talking about it earlier this week. Off season here in Baton Rouge, some off seasons feel like they last a decade. Some feel like they last 10 minutes. This one's been pretty quick for us getting back to football because LSU's got some expectation around them. How about for the Cajuns? How's this off season going for you guys?
Well, I feel like it's been a great off season. We've made tons of progress. We were able to keep our staff intact. Really excited about the quality of our coaching staff and a lot of the support staff and second-tier people that we've got in the building. We've got a core group of veterans that went through both the pros and cons of last year. You know, it tasted success a little bit, but also maybe didn't quite finish the way we wanted to. And we've added 50 new players to our team, and I like the rookie group that we have. So, you know, a lot of the outside people, you know, try to put expectations on us at this point. But we all know in the football world, you got to put the ball down and play, and that's where we're focused. We're focusing on our prep here for the opener.
I know you coaches always preach to stay away from distractions in the offseason, especially in preseason camp. You had a message to your players that seemed like got kind of lost in translation. It seemed like the sentiment was right, but the message had gotten lost and gotten national news. How has it been since that has kind of boiled over, and what was the initial message, Coach? Can you clarify what was going on there?
Yeah, it's been great here locally, great with our players. You know, our guys, obviously being a college football student athlete these days, when you start really looking at scholarship, tuition, books, fees, cost of attendance is a huge deal now. You know, our guys on average, if they're 2 years on campus, 2 years off campus, they get about $45,000 in cash on top of their scholarship over their 4-year period. And, you know, this was basically a gesture on our team's behalf to say thank you to all the people that contribute to our athletic department, RCAF, and support our program, not only football, but all student athletes. And I thought it was a really good gesture, you know, and I think it's gone over well here with our team. I think it's certainly gone over well here in this community. I know it got a little bit of flack outside, but it's been great. It's been a huge positive, and we're excited about it.
Talking to Ragin Cajun head coach Billy Napier here on Off the Bench. And, Coach, I want to ask you something that I've kind of just been thinking about listening to coaches around the country, watching those games on Saturday, and it has to do with tackling, and especially tackling in kind of the modern age of football, right, where practice contact becomes more and more limited. What ways have you figured out? How do you train these cats to be ready to tackle game one when you can't really do it that much in practice?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, man, especially after watching the first couple games so far this year. You know, we studied tackling extensively. You know, every missed tackle scenario that we had last year, not only us, but other teams as well. We've met with several people throughout the offseason. We try to incorporate a number of different drills into our offseason program with the strength and conditioning people. We do tackling every day as a football program during training camp, and certainly Tuesday and Wednesday in season. We only tackle 3 times during spring practice and 3 times during training camp. So you got to find ways to get your players in those body positions. We do a lot of good on good where it's, you know, we're creating fit and fold scenarios. We're creating leverage scenarios. A good friend of mine is Joe Judge with the New England Patriots. And, you know, we've always spent time. He's in charge of their tackling, you know, kind of their teach tapes and their drill setups. We do a lot of things that they do. But, you know, you're trying to create scenarios that show up consistently in the game. We've probably got about 5 different drills that we do good on good, separately from your traditional tackle circuits, maybe that our defensive staff does with the defensive players.
So, Coach, another thing that I've been wanting to pick your brain about is dealing with expectation, right? There's something that we talked about a lot, the team here in Baton Rouge, and LSU is going from being kind of an underdog last year to now you're expected to be the man. How do you go and be the man? Y'all were picked to finish first in the Sun Belt West Division. What's your approach when now you're dealing with some higher expectations this early on?
Well, I really believe that you try to limit your players' focus on those types of things. You got to kind of have tunnel vision, regardless of rankings and preseason polls. Our focus has got to be on our mindset, on our preparation, maximizing the focus and urgency that we have in meetings and walkthroughs, certainly each rep throughout practice. What type of self-discipline do we have relative to sleep, hydration, what we're eating, the attention to detail, and being really intentional and deliberate about how we do practice. And, we all want to play well when we get to the park on Saturday. It's more about the mentality and approach that we have. We've got a very specific routine that we use from Sunday to Saturday, kind of that in-season routine. And I think if you do that the right way, focus on the right things, you can play with confidence, and ultimately that's what it's about. Every year, these preseason polls, I think maybe we were picked to finish last in our league last year.
Huh.
So, I don't know that we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that. It's more about, where our team is today, what issues do we have, what solutions do we need to come up with, and maybe play a little smarter, play to our strengths. And each and every week's a little bit different. The matchups are different. The personnel is different, and certainly the schematics are different.
Speaking of new personnel, tons of change and turnover with Mississippi State. What have you seen in scouting the Bulldogs for this weekend?
Well, they're still going to be a very big, tall, long, fast, athletic team. They've recruited really well. And a lot of the players that are listed maybe as starters this year have significant snaps. They've got a significant play history. So they're going to be talented. They're an SEC West formidable opponent. A lot of respect for Coach Moore, head coach Shute, Coach Jones, their coordinators. And they play in the SEC West, and they won 8 games last year. I mean, this is a team that went through that gauntlet. And if anybody knows, you guys know that SEC West is no joke. And having been in that division and league for 5 years, I know what they go through each and every year. But we played them last year, so we're more familiar maybe than we would be if this was the first time.
Ogeron was talking about the calendar for you guys and how it turns over with recruits. You can call 2020 guys on Sunday, start to text 2021 guys. How do you compartmentalize getting prepared, playing, and recruiting all in one season, all in 1 week?
Well, you separate it. You got to obviously, we all know that, a good player makes a good coach. So you got to dedicate enough time. The recruiting calendar has really sped up. We're almost completely done with our class. We maybe have a handful of spots left, but you got to break. You got to make time for these calls during the season. Certainly, our coaches will be going on the road on Fridays. We've got a little bit of a different schedule this year, so we'll be out during the week some, because of these Wednesday night games, Thursday night games. So we've got that planned in advance. Our in-season routine really accounts for recruiting calls. It accounts for evaluations. All of that time is dedicated there. So, this is a template we've used for a long time and worked with some good people. And I feel that we've got that time spread out enough for each. And, you just got to have enough discipline as a coach, as an assistant coach, to do your job and follow through with the plan. That's what it's about. Very few are willing to do what's required, if you're going to have a championship caliber program, you got to do the work, and I think that this staff is up to the task.
Head coach of the Ragin Cajuns, Billy Napier. He's on Twitter at @coach_B Napier. He'll be here on Tuesday mornings with us talking football. He kicks off the season this Saturday, 11 a.m. in the Dome versus the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Good to talk with you, Coach. Thanks for the time.